Alright, today this is Neil from OKC Vape's Mod and Tech Department, here to explain and show you how to rebuild a bulldog. The bulldog is our new product that's just come out, and what it is a rebuildable atomizer. It is a sealed enclosure. Now, what you're going to want to do when you first get it, I removed the old coil that previously came on it. I don't like the taste of it. It sucks. I took it off. Toss that to the side, put it in the garbage, wherever you decide to go with it. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't have good flavor. Now, what you're going to want to do is remove the cover, and I already have one built on here. And you can see that there's two screw holes. Let's get this camera to focus. Come on, buddy. There we go. And there's two screws you can see, 1 and 2. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to need some basic tools to do all this. You're going to need a Phillips or a small eyeglass style one. You're going to need a wire snips. You're going to need a pair of scissors possibly to cut the wick and or wire. A paper clip. I use a safety pin sometimes to pull up the wires a little bit. We'll see what happens, how it goes. A marker, and you're going to need your torch. These are all basic things you should have laying around the house, most of them, except for maybe a torch. Now what you're going to want to do, say you're going to change your coil. So you're going to want to take your Phillips and just place it gently on top of the screw and turn it. You're going to want to turn it just enough to remove the wires, not take the screw out. You take the screw out, it's hard to get them back in. Now, you just lift it up. Now say you didn't want to touch it. It's all slimy looking and it's been used quite a lot. You use and do that. And then what you do is put that in your waste receptacle. Now after you're done, say you've been vaping cinnamon or something really you don't want to taste anymore, and say you can smell it in there. You can take and wash these off. Don't use soap or nothing like that, nothing harsh detergents, but just rinse it off really good. You can rinse this part off and this. It's all metal and it's all sealed, and just dry it off really good. What you're going to want to do after you get all that removed, so you're going to want to start your torch up. Now, I already have a wire, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it red all the way through to burn off the impurities. I'm going to do this twice. You want to get it to glowing red and slowly move it down. It takes a little bit of practice. Once you get done with that, you'll feel a little difference to it. It's not so springy. It's actually more durable. Now you're going to want to take your wick and do the same. And what this is doing is just burning off the impurities that possibly have been on there. You don't have to get it like to the point of black, just enough to cook off the impurities. Because you don't want to vape that. It's going to make it have an off taste. Once you're done with that, go ahead and take your torch and move that out of the way. You won't need that no more. Now, after torching, about the same thing. After doing that, you're going to want to fold that in half. And once folding it in half, you're going to grab your paper clip that you have that's stretched out like that. And I like to have that end so that I know which end to grab it on. You can kind of see it. There we go. See how that is? We got a nice firm end to the end. We can grab it and twist it and turn it. Gives you a little more room. And you're going to want to stick that end that way. Now after doing that, you're going to want to take your wire and stick the short end up in the air. Take the long end right here. See if I can get that to show up a little bit for you guys. And you're going to want this wrapped around at least 4 times to end up with a nice coil. You want to keep them nice and tight the whole time. And after doing that, you're going to have it, should be right around 1.9-ish. And once you're done, it's going to look like that. Let's see if I can grab it a different way. See, it's kind of hard to get this picture to go the way I want it to today. But they're nice and tight, they're even. And now I gotta grab them the other way. Now once you're done doing that, you're gonna want to take your pair of scissors and just trim the ends even so that they look the same. Then you're going to take your device, your bulldog, and you're going to want to place that inside there. These are really nice. They got a nice little center post. You want to straighten out the wires a little bit more than I got. And it's hard for me to see what I'm doing here sometimes. And then once you get that wire in there, there we go. Now see, and one wire didn't want to go where it's supposed to go, so then I take a safety pin, being that the paper clip's still in use. I want to pull that nice and snug. You want to pull each wire just straight forward so it pulls it snug. Now you can take your paper clip slowly out and you'll end up looking just like that. That is what you're going to end up with. Now you're going to take your screwdriver and you're going to want to retighten these back up. You don't want to over crank them, just snug them up. That's all you're going to do, just snug them up. Now what I've been doing is I just twist the wires off. They come off easy enough. Ooh, one wire ain't tight enough yet. I just seen that wiggle. So I'm going to pull that a little bit more snug. Now I'm going to tighten it down. Okay. And how you can tell is that you'll see the wire kind of move around a little bit. I think there's wires just move just enough where you can see them that they're attached really good. And what you're going to do is just twist the wires off. And these come off real easy, see? Now once you're done with that, you can take your paper clip or your safety pin and just spread the wires out evenly. Because once you do that, then it'll be a good experience. You get them too close and you could create a hot spot. And when I'm saying a hot spot, is when the coils are too close, they're not dispersing the heat evenly and it creates a problem. Now once you're done with that, you'll have a really nice coil. Let's see if I can get a nice view of this. I mean, it's really sharp looking. See that? I'll take my paper clip and kind of point this out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 coils on this one. And it should read about 1.7, 1.9, which is really good for me. I've been using them on my Silver Bullet. I've been using them on my Pravari. If you're just beginning in rebuilds, I would not suggest, say, an Ego Twist or an Eagle for yourself. If you have experience already doing this, it's at your own risk. So all I can really say is it's at your own risk. Now what I do is I take one end of the wire wick and just pack it into the bowl. I like to pack a little bit of wick in the bowl just for the fact that it kind of holds the liquid in a little bit better for me. And I just think it's a better idea. That's how I've been building it. Seems to work really well that way. To do a double wick and then tuck a long one in the front and a short one in the back. There you go. And it just takes a little bit of time. So then that's what you're going to want to do, is you're going to tuck one in the back, one in the front. There's one in the front already. And I just go around on the outside of it, and I don't go over the coil, I go around it to pack it in. And it doesn't affect how it actually performs. It doesn't affect how it's done. Now, being I'm using different, this is 3mm wick. This is what you're going to be getting in the kit. Being that I got a little bit thicker, I'm just going to cut the ends off, because I won't need them. And then that's what it's going to look like. This is how I've been doing it with the 3mm wick. I double it up. Let's see, where's my camera? There we go. Look at that. That's what it's going to look like. You got one side cut. You got your coils. And there's your screws. Looks pretty sharp, I think. That's what it's going to end up looking like. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to want to drop some of my good pomegranate on there that I got from them. I've been using a lot of pomegranate lately and mango, and I like them both. But we're going to run mango or pomegranate on this one. Now you want to get the coils nice and wet, because when you want to test your ohms, you kind of want it a little bit nice and wet. Let's see if I can get this again. And this stuff, the wick actually becomes really translucent. I mean, this is really good stuff. I mean, I've not had a problem with this wicking at all. My camera's being goofy today. There we go. See that? Ooh. Let's go to this side. Right about. There we go. You see that? Not when I'm moving around, probably. That's what it's going to look like, folks. Now what you want to do is you want to screw it on a device that can read it, or you want to take a multimeter and test it for ohms. Always test it so you don't got an error coming up. If you got an error or something that doesn't read, then you're going to have to do it again. Like I just did. I have some reason it's not reading. Could be just the bottom. Now if you have a problem where it's not reading, you can grab your safety pin and you actually might have to pull your post. And just be gentle, you don't got to take it all the way out. Yep, there. Now I have 1.7, 1.8, 1.8. Okay. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to take your cover. Actually, let's back this up here. This is where the marker comes in handy. For you first time people that might not know some tips and tricks to help you out, this is where this marker is going to come in handy. Okay. What you're going to have to do is see where your coil is. My coil's sitting here. What you can do is take your marker and mark just a little spot where it is. It's not going to be a permanent mark, but it helps you guide so you don't got to sit there and guesstimate where your coil is. Now, when I'm saying that, is you want your airflow to come over the coils. You don't want to come at sideways or an angle, because it's going to give you a harsh, nasty burn taste, and you won't get no good cloud off it. Now, it doesn't matter if the air hole's in the back or in the front of it, as long as it hits it in the front of it. It pulls it over the coils. I prefer trying to keep it to the front of it. Let's see where this one ends up today. This is where the O-rings come in handy too. Sometimes they don't quite line up, so I have to sometimes put an O-ring in there just to get that air hole where I want it positioned at properly. And that's why we provide them in the kits. I'm going to test this out just to see how it goes. Works for me for right now. That's how you build a bulldog, you guys. That's a rebuildable atomizer. Works for me. You guys have a good time vaping and enjoy the bulldog from OKC Vapes.